Hi, it's Nikki here from Happy Hormones for Life, and today I've got the amazing Laura Coleman with me. She's the founder of Be Modern Meditation, a world leader at the forefront of making meditation and other stress reduction practices accessible to the masses. No longer just the domain of the yogi, the monk, or the ascetic. Is that the right word, Laura? She helps
Yes.
her clients to harness the power of meditation to achieve their fullest life potential. Now, she's an established and highly regarded expert in her field. She's particularly passionate about helping women ditch stress and overwhelm and build a truly meaningful life using the transformative power of modern meditation. Lots of big words in there. I'm struggling today. Welcome, Laura. This is I've been so looking forward to this session because meditation, I bang on and on about it, but I want to explore with you your thoughts on how we get that to the masses. That's why I love how you've put that in your bio, because this is one of the things that is the challenge, isn't it? So we're going to be talking about that, no doubt, but please could you just start off by just telling us all your story and how you got into the world of meditation?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me as well. I love nothing more than spending my days talking about meditation. But it wasn't always that way, as is often the case, isn't it? That we come to things when we need them. And for me, my journey with meditation started with three words, actually, because I found myself around 7 years ago now sitting down to write in my journal. I wasn't much of a journal writer at the time. I wasn't much of anything that meant looking after myself. And I wrote the words, I am nothing. And it was just such a jolt of, oh my gosh, either that's true and how awful that I'm nothing, or it's not true and how awful that that's how I'm feeling.
Mm.
Because outwardly at that time, I'd left behind my corporate career to be a stay-at-home mum, which, as we all know, is a full-time job. We'd moved overseas. I had two young children with their own challenges, and in that process, I'd kind of lost myself. So outwardly, I was doing lots of things. I was managing a house build. I was working for a charity. I was bubbly. I was social. I was all the things. But inside, I was really struggling, and that mismatch was getting harder and harder to manage. So the overwhelm and the overthinking of trying to just look like I was holding it together was just becoming unmanageable. And that's what those three words really showed me, was that something has to change. And as often happens, you then stumble across the things you need. And for me, that was meditation. Now, it wasn't a magic bullet that I started to meditate and hallelujah, everything was solved, but it just dramatically changed how I experienced everything. And it started a journey really of then exploring, what does this mean? And for me, that meant studying psychology and mindfulness and acceptance commitment therapy, and really following a breadcrumb trail, because I really wanted to understand, how is this working, and why is this working? And also, to what I became really passionate about was how do we make this accessible for more people? Because I think so many of us have that aspiration, don't we? If I want to meditate, I know it might help me, but it feels really hard. And I've discovered that that's my ninja skill, really, is making it attainable and accessible, because I'm probably not a very you wouldn't necessarily be a natural meditation teacher, in the sense that I've always been a really sort of driven, highly sort of energized. I talk fast, even when I'm trying not to. I struggle to sit still. I've got attention deficit tendencies, so I'm kind of not really the mold. And yet, here I am. It's changed my life, and it's changed everything about my life. And so, in a way, that gives me maybe a slightly different perspective on what does it mean to build a meditation practice, and what does it mean to change your life through this practice, that seems to resonate and work for people.
And what happened to you? How did it change your life? What was that transformation?
Well, one of the biggest things, I mean, I guess there's kind of stages to the journey, really, is that, for me, because I'd been accumulating these stresses and overwhelm over a number of years without realizing, the first thing really was the release of finally allowing space to process and experience, rather than stuffing down, distracting, and trying to pretend. And so that first stage of the journey was quite painful, really, I suppose, of actually learning to be with myself, learning to be with all of these difficult feelings that bubbled up, the anxiety, the things that I'd kept at bay and held at arm's length and been struggle with. And then once I started to get more comfortable with that and release and let go of those stresses and begin to do that work and that journey, then for me, it became about uncovering and really starting to connect to what was underneath the overwhelm in terms of who am I really now. And I think particularly as a mum, when you're somebody that, you've left, your career is not what it was, or you're not in a career anymore, that you have lost a sense of who you are and what you're all about. So that was the next stage, was excavating, was really dropping into what was underneath that, and beginning to, and as I said at the beginning, really following the breadcrumb trail and starting to trust again that if I just did the next step, the next one would become obvious. And and actually, funnily enough, as I've gone through this journey, there were times where the people around me, particularly people like my husband or friends, would be like, it looked to the outside like this very random pattern of, well, you're studying psychology and then you're not doing psychology. And because actually sometimes you uncover, well, actually I thought that was the direction I wanted to go, and but I've got what I need from that, and now it's the next thing. So learning to trust myself again and learning to go with what my gut was telling me, then was what then sort of kept, as I said, just kept that journey progressing. And it's like peeling back the layers of the onions. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but that's what I was doing. I was uncovering and relearning who I really was. And probably, if I'm honest, learning about myself in a way that I never had, that I'd actually spent my life, when I look back, doing what I was expected to do and doing what I thought I should do, and wanting to tick the boxes of what this successful, happy life was going to be, but it wasn't making me happy. So, so that's really why what's brought me to where I am now, is where that's my passion now with particularly women, because I think there is particularly, I guess, there comes a certain moment in your life, whatever, whether that's driven by having children or children leaving home or whatever it is, that you suddenly realize that there's this quiet whisper that you haven't been able to listen to for a long time, and learning how to firstly even allow space for that to happen. But then once you start listening, what do you do with that? How do you use that to make choices that take you towards the life you want rather than away from it?
Wow. Okay. I mean, you've sold it. Sounds amazing. It sounds almost too good to be true, but I know there's some effort involved in terms of habits, isn't there, and how to
Yeah.
build that habit. How would you give us some clues or tips on to how to build it into our routines?
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's again one of the biggest barriers. So we've got, you've got the barrier of my mind's too busy. That's a big one. But then another really big barrier is I don't have time. And I really do get that, because we've all by the time we're supposed to have done all the exercise, the eating healthily, the looking after everyone, the chasing the career, and there's so many things we're supposed to do, and it feels like another thing to fit in. And the great news is that the research is really showing that actually you don't need masses of time. Even 5 minutes a day will make a difference.
5 minutes.
5 minutes a day, and obviously, just like physical exercise, that the more you do, the better.
Yeah.
But it's the same. It's no different. So if I want to lose weight, I want to get healthy. I'm not going to get up and suddenly run a marathon. There's a reason why there's a couch to 5K. That actually you take those baby steps. And I really encourage people to keep their expectation of themselves really small, because one of the biggest factors is in us sticking with a habit is achieving success.
Yeah.
And obviously achieving success at meditation is quite tricky, because you don't feel like a success when you close your eyes and it's really busy, but you can feel like a success if the measure of success is just that you show up once a day, and even 1 minute a day actually makes a difference. And one of the things I'm really passionate about helping people to is create micro moments through their day. And it's quite a buzzword at the moment, micro moments. I keep seeing it coming around, but there's some great research out of the University of Pennsylvania, even last year, looking at how micro moments of meditation through your day can actually accumulate and create change in the way that you process stress and the way that you adapt to things and how resilient you are. So I think that's a really powerful thing to know.
Yeah, and everyone can fit in a micro moment. What does that look like, Laura?
Well, and again, this is another thing that, it can look different. So I'm a real believer in finding the practice that works for you. So, everything from how long, how often, where you do it, it's all about it just becoming really natural for you. So a micro moment could be, because to build a habit, you just need that. You need the motivation, which hopefully this conversation will give people, even potentially. You need the trigger, and that's about looking at your day and going, right, when do I have these natural moments? So I have one client, whenever she goes for a wee, she takes the micro moments. When she's sitting on the toilet, she just takes a moment, and that just means she closes her eyes. She just asks her body, how am I feeling right now? And that's it. That's all she does. And she's just turning inwards. That's essentially meditation is. It's turning inwards and tuning in. I've got another client, whenever she walks through a certain doorway in her home, that's her trigger to focus on her breath for 3 breaths. And she's not trying to change her breath or do anything. She's just focusing on her breath. And it's really, really manageable. And I used to do, like, for me, when I used to pick up the kids from school, I would just change you know how you always have that, your drop dead time where you always end up scrambling and running out the door when you've got to go pick up the kids or whatever, or get somewhere. And no matter what, you always do make it, but it's always last minute scramble. I just mentally changed what my last minute scramble time was to give myself 5 to 10 minutes at the school gate. And so I would sit in my car and I would meditate before the kids came out and just close my eyes. And there's a great app I would listen to, or I would just sit with my eyes closed. And the days that I didn't do that, I was a different mum. And the difference in terms of, and I still remember actually when not long after I first started meditating, my kids were quite young at the time, and I remember my daughter saying to me, "Oh, mummy, I like it now you're not shouting." And I was like, oh, it's like kind of dagger through the heart moment where you realize that, because that's unfortunately where I got to, when you're stressed and you're overwhelmed and you do start behaving away from what we really want to and what your values are. And, and none of us want to be shouty mum or shouty partner or, aggressive colleague, do we? But we can find ourselves there without realizing. And it's not, we can turn the tide on that quite quickly without having to change dramatic things in our lives.
How would you, apart from just doing 5 minutes, say any other tips on how to get started and really build this in?
Well, again, it is a bit horses for courses in terms of, for some people, it's really useful to have some kind of guided process that they go through. So, that's why. So I have a 21-day stress and overwhelm detox that I often, recommend to people, just because it's literally a bite-sized video each day and a practice, and it's sort of very simple, and it lands in their inbox, and it means that they can just, without having to think too much, there it is.
What you've talked about is enough motivation. But if you're going through hormone imbalances or you're going through menopause, any kind of health issues, then this is even more important. And it's actually, for me, it's just a non-negotiable, because if you don't switch off that cortisol and that stress response, it's going to have a massive impact on your hormones and your health, as we know, as I talk about a lot. So this, if not only is it going to help physiologically, physically with the hormone balance, but it's also going to help with your whole life, from what you've described, is everything.
Yeah, totally. And that's the thing, at that crucial point when you're going through menopause, I'm at the early stages of that now, so I'll be picking your brain. That you everything about who you know yourself to be is suddenly up in the air, isn't it? And that feeling resourced to be able to sit with that and to know how to navigate that, and knowing that you have got that inside of you actually. And it's really empowering to feel the true sense that, people say the answers are within you and all of that, and it feels like a load of nonsense, doesn't it? But but when you truly feel that, you feel that deeper sense of knowing that has been there all along, there's just something really, really powerful about that.
Amazing. Laura, remind everyone what your website is, so that we can go and have a look at what you've got to offer.
No problem. It's bemodernmeditation.com. And I'll give you a link. I've got a free 4 steps to a daily dose of calm, which is just a video which just guides you on that process and gives you a 5-minute practice that you can use straight away. And it's got a little 5-minute download of that, so you can literally put it in your phone, do whatever. And so it's super easy. So that's a great place to start.
So thank you so much, Laura. It's been really amazing. Your story is just so inspirational, and I hope everybody's inspired to really just try it if they're not doing it now. And 5 minutes a day, we can all manage that. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.